What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. And yes, today we've got another mod for you. And today we've actually got a good tip for anybody that's looking to add anything in the cab, or if you want to just wire anything through the cab. So you actually have two wires inside underneath your dash, whether you have the aux switches or not. If you have aux switches like I do, then you'll have 6 wires. But if you don't, then you should have 2 wires. I've been told by people that everybody has these. And there's one that's a live wire that's always hot, and there's one that is in accessory wire, so it's only on when the ignition is on. And I'm going to show you guys how to wire stuff basically inside the cab, because today I'm going to be adding a dash cam. And my brother was kind enough to hook me up and give me a dash cam for my birthday, so shout out to you, thank you Matt. But today we're going to be installing it, and it's actually a yeah, no, that was not a gunshot, and no, the roof isn't coming down. They're doing construction, so I do apologize for the noise in the background. So as I was saying before I got rudely interrupted by the construction noises, if you have the aux switches, then you will have 4 wires under your hood, and you can wire basically whatever you want through these 4 wires. But if you do not have these 4 leads and you don't have aux switches, then you will still have the leads under here. So I've already gone through and I've tested them out with my test light to see which ones are which. And the 2 thick ones here are actually aux switches. This is your number 1 and your number 2, and whichever order that is. And then you have your 3 and your 4. So obviously that's because these are rated for higher wattage and these are rated for lower wattage, or amperage I should say. Now these are the black and, the white or the pink, whatever you want to call it, white and pink, white and red, and the red one over here. The red one is your accessory. So this one is only on when the ignition is on. This one is always hot. So these 2 wires are what we're going to be using today. And if you don't have your aux switches, then you're basically only going to have those 2 wires. So we're going to go and we're going to wire everything up. And I think I'm going to just double check what under here is going to be a good ground, because if you pop off this one tab right here, then you've got a couple of different screws. And since we're wiring up a dash cam, I'm going to need a negative, and you only have positives under there. So those leads are only positive wires. So to do that, you're going to have a ground somewhere. So we'll figure that out. But as I was mentioning before I got interrupted by the construction noise, my brother got me a really sick dash cam. This is the Thinkware U1000. So this is a dual channel. So I get a camera in the front and in the back. This one shoots up to 4K, and it does also have the parking mode feature. So if you hardwire it like we're going to be doing today, you can set up the different parameters, but you can basically have it record motion sensor as well as what's the word, like actual collisions. So if somebody bumps into your vehicle, somebody shakes the vehicle or whatever, it'll activate it, or motion sensors will also activate it. So if somebody walks by it or somebody is in front of it. So I don't know how often I'm going to be using the parking mode, just because I park in an underground garage, and who knows if it's just going to be going off all the time. But it does have a low voltage cutoff, so you can set your low voltage cutoff in the app on your phone, which you can also do a live view. You can get notified, because this thing has Wi-Fi and this thing has Wi-Fi. You can get notified whenever there's a collision or whenever there's anything that happens, so you can kind of just know what's going on. And you can also do a live view at any time. So I'll see if I'm going to be setting up the Wi-Fi. I might have to go outside to set that up, and we'll do that after. But for now, I think we're going to set this guy up. And this isn't sponsored, and like I said, I got this as a gift, so I'm not trying to advertise the camera, but this thing looks pretty cool. And you can mount it in 2 different ways. So it does have a sticky pad here that kind of just comes off. And you can mount it if you mount it on the top, or if you mount it on the windshield here. I just realized that wasn't in frame. So you can mount it up here, but I think I'm going to be mounting it like this, because the camera swivels. So if you mount it up like that, you can swivel the camera to get it basically to wherever you want it and to face the right way. If you mount it up like that, well, then you swivel it the other way, same thing. And there's Vincent trying to hide out of frame. So yeah, we're gonna basically be putting it on the windshield, just because I do have the blind spot monitoring system in here, and it has all the cameras and junk in there. So this is basically going to cover this, and I'll never see that this is even there. So it's not going to bother me, and for the passenger, it's only really going to take up a little bit more space. I don't know how annoying it's going to be for them, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to be too bad. So we've got that. We're going to install that in a second, and I would go up here, but then I feel like the sun visor, well, I don't know if the sun visor is going to get in the way, but it's just not a great mounting position just because of how curved it is. So I think we're going to be doing the windshield today. And we do have a back camera that I'm going to be mounting in the back. And yes, this light is super clutch. Awesome when you're working on stuff. Awesome when you're cleaning the inside of your vehicle. But it honestly helps out a lot. So now we've got two different ways to wire this. Hard wiring it, or wiring it just by plugging it in through the cigarette lighter. But I don't want this hanging out there all the time. So we're going to be hard wiring it. We're going to tuck all the wires behind here, all the way down, and hopefully we can get them nice and hidden. So let's go. They even give you a little bit of wire management. Oh, and one other cool feature of this thing, if you do not have this and you want to have lane keep assist and you want to have front collision warning, this offers both of those features. Okay, so I've got it pretty much mounted. It sits right here, and it does sit on a bracket where you can basically just slide it off if you need to for whatever reason. But I lined it up with the camera, with the live view on my phone, so that I can line up the camera. And I also forgot to mention, it comes with a polarized filter, so that's pretty cool. But we ran the wires basically right in here, and we tucked them all the way through here. And what I did was I removed this guy that sits right here, and that gives you access to this little crevice that basically meets up to this side. So I put the wire through there. You can see the wire right in there, and it tucks in nice between this foam here, all the way through, and all the way down right through there. Comes out right in between there, and we've got it down here. So now I've got all my leads. I'm gonna connect all my leads, but first I'm gonna double check exactly what's going on. So you can see, well, I was gonna say keys out because I'm used to the TJ, but keys out, it's not on, so no power is going to anything. So let's see which of those wires is our ignition and which of those wires is live all the time. So key is off, and so this one, red and white, or pink and white, whatever you want to call it, she's live. This guy over here, she is not live. But now let's turn on the ignition. And now she is live. So all these wires I stabbed, obviously I'm gonna put a heat shrink over all of these, and we're gonna use these two wires right now. So it is kind of funny, but the yellow one is the battery and the red one is the accessory. So we'll go by whatever it's labeled as. I did already test them to make sure. And yeah, so let's connect all of this. And I think I'm gonna be doing my ground right there. So as you can see, I just tested it and the light worked. So I think we should be good, but we can do one more test actually. So what I can do is, if I can get the clamp on that wire properly. So it was a little bit of a pain in the butt to actually get this to connect there with the clamp. So what I did was I connected it to the positive terminal on the battery, and just to see which of these is actually a ground. But you can see that one is a ground. This one is painted. So that's why you got to watch out, because if something's painted, it doesn't always ground out for you. So you can see even in there where it's not as painted, it's still not grounding out. But this one grounds out anywhere you want it. So I think what we're going to do is spin off that tiny little nut there, and we're going to use that for our ground. And yeah, this is just a cheap Amazon test light. If you connect it to positive, you get a green light for ground. If you connect it to negative, you get a red light for positive. Pretty cool. I think it was like $7, and definitely saves you a lot of time guessing what is what. And it also works for turn signals, because it'll start flashing for you, so you'll know which one is the turn signal, which one is what. Kind of cool. Definitely recommend picking up one of these if you do anything on your own stuff, or on your own vehicles I should say. And before we connect anything, I'm going to give it a double check to see exactly what our voltage is at. Now I don't have a multimeter, so I can't check that way, but I can at least go off of what it says here. Now it says 12.2, 12.3, wait, 12.3. So it said 12.2 a second ago, and earlier when I checked it, it did say 12, and she starts. So that's the main thing. So as long as I know she starts, see there, it said 12, now it went up because the alternator's working, and we should jump up to about 14.7, 14.4, but yeah, it does slowly creep up. 14.5, yeah, you can see it's gonna jump probably up to 14.7. So I think we're good to go. I think that we don't have anything to worry about if we set our low voltage disconnect to about 12.3, 12.2. I know that I'll be able to start at 12, so I'm not worried about that. So I think we should be okay. And if I do find there's any issues, it'll be a lot easier for me to just cut that one wire and put everything to the accessory than to actually go back and rewire stuff if I actually do want to go and use the parking mode. So let's go, let's wire it up the way it's supposed to be used, and hopefully it doesn't drain my battery. But you never know. That's always something that could happen whenever you wire something directly to the battery. So be cautious, be wary, and just know that that's something that could happen. So let's go. Hopefully we don't have any issues, and yeah, let's wire her up. Okay, so we've already heat shrinked these four just so that we don't have any open wires from where I stabbed them. And these ones might be a little bit of a pain to strip, but we'll see. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I'm not even left-handed. All right, so now we've just got to connect these two wires up. And today, what I'm using instead of solder and heat shrink tubing is these heat shrink connectors that have solder in them. So there's like a little piece of solder in the middle, and then it's heat shrink tubing around it. So that's basically what we're going to be dealing with. And these wires are actually kind of cool. They have a little bit of heat shrink with like a label on them. So I don't know how well how well the camera picks that up, but that one says battery on it. The other one has an ACC for accessory power. So it's kind of cool, something different. You don't really see that. Nice little touch. Definitely helps with install. So if I remember correctly, the one with the white line is our battery. So slip this guy on, twist these together, and then you heat that up. Solder melts, connects the wires, heat shrink seals it. Bingo bango, good to go. All right, one more to go, and then we just got to connect our negative, our ground wire, and we're good. Why is it every time you got to do wiring, it's always in some shitty tight space, somewhere where you don't want to be sticking around too long? Like even this isn't too bad, but under the Jeep, sometimes doing rock lights, it's a nightmare. So with these, I basically start in the middle to kind of get the middle heated and shrunk first so that there's no air pockets. It also helps with melting the solder down first. It spreads out, and then everything kind of seals itself around it. So you can see the difference there between that one and the other one that's done. Solder melts pretty good. And that's it. Now they're still a bit hot, so I don't want to get too close, but you can basically see how it seals it up pretty damn good. And there's a little bit of glue coming out at the end there, which shows you that it is sealed airtight. So sweet. We've got those two done. Now we've got the negative, which we're gonna run to that guy right there. So let me go grab a ratchet and a socket for that, and then I think we're good. And you do have like a little not eyelet, but almost an eyelet, like a U connector, so it will be nice to just slip under there. It will be easy, and then we'll zip tie everything out of the way. And I do have a rear camera still to run, so we still have, I don't know where I put them, but there is a rear camera somewhere. There it is. So there's a rear camera here, so this gets stuck to the back, and I think it gets stuck something like that or like that, we'll see. And then from there we just position that, And the cool thing about this one is I'll be able to rotate it inside the housing, and I'll have a camera pointing inside the vehicle for whenever I take it to the dealer for service or anywhere else. So that will be a nice touch. All right, it's still a bit of a mess in here, but we've got it all wired up, and we wired it pretty damn good, I would say. So these two wires, there's one for the rear camera, one for the actual power. Those run up through this panel right here, and then down through this side, which I still have to put back the weather stripping, this guy. We're gonna put the weather stripping back because we are done. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 clips. Oh, where is that last one? There it is. So there. You would never know anything was ever touched. Now we've got that wire running through there. There it is right there. You can see it into there. And then I tucked it in as best as I could, kind of like behind the foam. So you can see there, you don't see any wires. Then it comes back out right there, which showed itself for a second, but you can see it kind of tucks in right there, really nice. Then it comes out over there, and we actually didn't even have to zip tie anything. I put all my spare tires, all my spare cables right in there. So that's where that is. And for the one for the back, I ran it through here, around this panel, underneath this panel, through, it keeps going underneath the panel all the way through, and then it goes in through here, up. You can see there's the wire. There's my extra cable, because there's a nice pocket in here of space. Then it runs up and up the post where the seatbelt comes out. So let's see, let me turn this. So it runs through there, comes up the post where the seatbelt is. There's the wire, and then to our back camera, which I still have to check the positioning of. But yeah, there is this one little wire that's going to be hanging out. If we do ever want to take the roof off, I can just unplug it, just pulling this simple cable. Yeah, you can see the camera's crying that the rear view camera is disconnected. But there you go. That's all you need to do. You just literally need to unplug it. You can pull your whole top off and you don't have to worry. This cable, you can literally just tuck right back into there. And I left this open just to show you guys. But right now, let's just pop all of these back on. And now that we are done with all of the electrical and we're done testing and everything, I will do an update for you guys in a second on the TJ, which is behind me. If you guys are following the channel, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been following the channel, then you guys are missing out. Definitely jump down there and check out the old videos, because that thing's been through a lot lately. And yeah, that's all I can say. So I did end up picking up one of these for the TJ, and I ended up liking it enough that I thought I would grab another one off Amazon for like $20-something for the Gladiator. And this is basically to hold a fire extinguisher in place. And these fire extinguishers, funny enough, I went to Home Depot to go pick them up, and they wanted only 25 bucks. But that's if you buy the white one. And the white one is rated for the exact same thing, because they're made like auto and marine. But if you buy the red one, it's 5 bucks more. Go figure. And funny enough, on Amazon, they're like 80 bucks for the same fire extinguisher for whatever reason. So you go on Amazon and you can buy all the useless stuff you don't need for cheap. All the stuff made in China that's gonna last you a week. But then if you go and you wanna buy something that's actually gonna save your life, 80 bucks. But yeah, that's enough of that rant. Let's get this thing on here. Hopefully it fits in this place where I wanna keep it, and we can get our fire extinguisher mounted up. Should have probably just done that, eh? Makes life a lot easier. And there is even a little strap at the bottom to hold it and cradle it, which is pretty much the best part about these straps. that they actually hold it in place. I have it in the TJ and I went off-roading already with it. You don't even hear the pin that holds everything in place rattling or anything, so pretty good. Cannot complain. Okay, so we should be able to just slip this in like so. And there you have it. She is all mounted up and it is pretty sturdy. Like you can see, like the whole Jeep is moving. So I think it's in there pretty good. And like obviously it moves a bit because it's a nylon strap, so it's gonna slide a tiny bit, but no noise. Like we're good. And she fits in there real nice, tucks right in. And I know that the straps are made for a little bit of a bigger tank or fire extinguisher, I should say, because they do end like right there. However, I was keeping this in the bed, and having it here, say I can't get to it, it's a lot easier to tell somebody it's connected to the roll bar in the back seat on the driver's side, or you just go, it's in the back seat on the roll bar, and they'll go and they go, oh hey, nice fire extinguisher, like it's right there. Obviously, it's going to take a second to get the straps off, but it is accessible, it is visible. That is also why I paid the $5 extra for the red one, because I figured, yeah, the what's it called? Because they make these for auto and marine. So like I figured the white one's going to do the exact same thing. It's got the exact same specs. However, if somebody other than me is going to grab it and they see a white tank, they might not immediately think fire extinguisher. They might think it's something else. And I don't want somebody to hesitate when something like this is needed. So now that we've got it mounted, can throw the box out, and honestly I'm super happy with the positioning of it. It looks good. You don't see it with the door open. It's not like it's in your face, and you can still easily access everything. The seatbelt doesn't get in the way. Like you can still tuck it in right here, and there it is. It sits how it usually sits. Perfect. I'm happy with that. Camera is all hooked up. I think that we are all done here. So I got it out for a drive just to get some footage and see how everything looks. Now I know that on my GoPro, if I tape in 4K 30 or if I tape in 1080 30, then it gets a little bit grainy and a little bit choppy whenever things start to move real quick. And especially when you upload to YouTube, YouTube destroys the quality of your videos. I don't know why, but yeah, it just degrades the quality a lot. Well, I know why, because it has to upload so many videos and it has to keep them on the server and be able to have them playable quick. And if it had that much quality on every single video, then it would take a lot longer and everybody would have to have more bandwidth and so on and so on. But this one shoots at 1080 60, but the rear one always shoots at 1080 30. So I set the front one to 4K 30 because it doesn't have 4K 60. So we're gonna do 4K at 30 frames a second and 1080 at 4K at 30 frames a second and 1080 at 30 frames a second. So they're both going to be at 30 frames a second. One's going to be at 4K, the one in the back is 1080, and we're going to see what they look like. And it does also record sound. So I will play you guys like a quick clip and just like a sample of what it sounds like, just so you guys can get a, I guess, an idea if you guys are in the market for one of these dash cams. This one is the Thinkware U1000. And it does not have the radar. It has everything but the radar. So it has GPS, it'll tell you your speed. If you want it to timestamp the speed on there, it will. If you don't, then it won't have it on there for you. So yeah, so you can turn that feature off. We have the rear camera, so that is also an extra that you can get. So yeah, we've got front camera, rear camera. It has Wi-Fi. It's got the automatic uploads, so if you do connect it to a Wi-Fi network, like the Jeep has its own Wi-Fi network. I don't think I will be connecting it to the Wi-Fi just because that's going to waste a little bit more battery, but it can connect to the Wi-Fi network and you can actually do all of that, like have it upload footage right away, and you can do the live view at any time. So right now I think we're just going to go for a quick drive. I'm going to give you guys a quick sample of what the footage looks like,
and then we'll head back and I'll do a little bit of a wrap up and an update on the TJ, because if you guys have been watching the channel, I've got a little bit of an update for you guys. But yeah, let's go and let's test this thing out. So one extra feature is if something does happen, or if you want to get yourself some footage, you hit this record button and it'll give you guys 1 minute of footage that it'll save separately. It'll hit 10 seconds before you hit the button and 50 seconds after. So let's see that right now.
Manual recording will now start.
Guys, 1 minute of footage that it'll save separately. It'll hit 10 seconds before you hit the button and 50 seconds after. So let's see that right now.
Manual recording will now start.
So basically guys, this is a quick sample of what the audio and what the video looks like coming out of the dash cam. I think Vince just got hit by a bee. He's sitting in the passenger seat beside me and something flew in here because he's going nuts. But yeah, we're just going for a quick drive to go pick up my girlfriend Justine and just test out the camera and see how it looks. This is with the brightness set to high, and I do have it set to, I do have the polarizer filter on the actual lens. So it does come with a polarizer filter so that you guys can get a little bit of a better color and a little bit of a better image. And out here in Canada, it's always either sunny or snowy. Yeah, this guy's going nuts. I don't know what happened, but something flew in under his shirt or something. Under my shirt. So yeah, that's basically what it looks like and what it sounds like. Not too bad. I'm actually pretty happy with the picture from what I've seen so far on my phone. I do have to go and actually retrieve the files, so you can download the files onto your phone and you can go and check them out that way. I don't know if you guys are getting too much wind noise on that side, but you can download the files onto your phone and then you can transfer them onto whatever you want, or you can just take the memory card out. I will be just downloading them onto my phone today, just so that I don't have to deal with the whole memory card and all that. But if you do hook it up to Wi-Fi, another feature you have is if it notices a motion detection or a collision, like not a collision, I forgot the name they use for it, because incident, there we go, incident, which means like a motion detection where it actually moves the vehicle. Like when I went to go open the door, that counts as one. So if somebody scratches your car or touches your car, it can actually send you a message and it'll send you the video right away if you have it hooked up to Wi-Fi. So you can be sitting there at home, and if it's hooked up to your home Wi-Fi, if you park in front of your house, I park in an underground garage, so I don't have that luxury. But if you park in front of your house, hook it up to your Wi-Fi, and every time you're at home, it hooks up to the Wi-Fi, and it basically will send you a video if anybody comes and screws around with your vehicle, which is super nice because, yeah, you never know what might happen. And obviously there is issues like hail and rain and stuff like that, so you can set the sensitivity. I think there's like 4 or 5 different sensitivities you can set it to, and then if it still keeps pissing you off, you can always just turn it off right from the app, as long as you're connected to the actual camera, which you might have to go to the vehicle for that. I'm not too sure, I haven't had it long enough, but yeah. So that's enough about the camera. Let's head back and I'm gonna give you guys a quick update on the TJ. Yes, and the good old TJ. So what do we have on the TJ? If you guys watched the last video and you watched it to the end, we blew up the axle again. The shaft is free spinning and there's no power going to the wheels. So obviously something inside is not happy. Now we ended up taking it apart and looking inside. I know what's broken. I don't want to ruin it for you guys because that's in the next video. But I've already started that video. I'm just waiting for parts. So one more thing's coming and we'll be good to go. But you can see like she's on stands right now. Like the wheels are free spinning. So she's not in commission yet, but she will be by this weekend. So I have a few things that I'm gonna replace and I will be hitting the trails again this weekend. If we cannot get this thing ready, then we will get this thing ready. But it should be good to go. Like you can see, the bearings in this thing are good because it's still spinning and it's not making any noise. Like you don't hear a damn thing. So it's not the bearings. I did rebuild both the front and rear axles recently, so I'm not too worried. And I do have all the parts already, except for one last thing that I'm waiting for my buddy Darnell to bring me. And we'll, excuse me, we'll do that tomorrow. Get this thing ready, get it back on the road, and hit a trail this weekend. So look forward to that. And if you guys are interested, we will be hitting Scotch Line Trail in Minden this weekend. If you guys want to come out with me, then definitely hit me up on Instagram. I'm happy to have anybody join. And if you guys want to just check out the videos and you're new around here, then please jump down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because I've got mods, I've got off-roading videos, I've got repair videos, and a whole bunch of other stuff coming your way.
and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. But until then guys, ride safe out there. Peace.